Hey, this is Justin with Salt Strong, and I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been frustrated trying to sight fish in tough conditions? This is a common situation we all get caught in. It's blowing 15 to 20 miles per hour, it's 11 a.m. in the morning, the sun is high and bright, the bite's been tough, and then you stumble upon a nice group of fish. In this video, I was fishing the North Indian River Lagoon and found some really nice trout scattered over this sand flat. I knew the bite would be tough under these conditions, so by making a few small adjustments to my lure presentation, I was able to land 3 really nice trout using the power prawn. I've noticed that on days when it's really windy and I'm swinging for the fences trying to get that bite later on in the day, I always make tweaks to my presentation to better the odds of getting a strike, and a lot of times, it's not one simple fix, but rather a series of changes that, when combined together in the moment, can prove to be deadly when fishing on sunny, windy days. So in this video, I'll be talking about how to enhance your lure by changing up the weight of your hook, adding a little scent, and even adding a rattle to entice a strike when sight fishing for picky fish in tough conditions. So I want to start out by saying that normally when I fish for big trout, my tendency is actually to throw a paddle tail or a jerk bait, something that would imitate a bait fish, a higher calorie meal for these bigger trout. But as you can see in the video, these conditions were not ideal for sight fishing big trout. Again, it was later on in the morning. These trout are low light feeders. They've likely already had their meal for the day. And most of the time when you find trout like this over crystal clear water, they can be one of the toughest fish to get to bite. But it's not impossible. I want to point that out. It's in these types of situations that you can do things to enhance your lure, and you're definitely going to increase your chances of getting a strike even when conditions are not in your favor. So let's take a look at what I was using for the morning. I spent the entire morning throwing the Power Prawn Junior the entire time, and this was intentional for several different reasons. The first being that a shrimp presentation moves significantly slower across the flats than any other soft plastic, okay? In the eyes of a predator, a shrimp might not seem as juicy or satisfying as a big mullet or a croaker or a mud minnow, but it's definitely easier to gobble down, and it would require a lot less effort to capture. So I found that slowing down your presentation and going with a low risk, easy reward profile like a shrimp just gives these trout one less thing to think about. Okay, you really want these fish to think it's their idea, a natural presentation, shrimps just cruising along unsuspectedly, and it's in their line of sight, and it's an easy opportunity. So anything you can do to invite these trout or redfish or any game fish that you're going for to come over and investigate your presentation will increase your chances of getting that strike. Another very important thing that I always try to do when sight fishing in tough conditions is add a little bit of scent. This was actually my first time trying the Dr. Juice saltwater slam scent that Joe and Luke have used recently, and have got some really nice fish on it. I've used Procure over the years. I've had some success with it sight fishing, but I wanted to see what all the hype was about because Luke kept saying this stuff is magic. I'm a pretty apprehensive fisherman, but I really think this stuff is pretty awesome. When you look on the back, it says that they incorporate hormones, pheromones, and something called caromones, which I had to look up and see what that means. And to put it simply, I think it means this. Here's an example. Let's say you're at the boat ramp getting ready, okay, and you're outside and you're breathing. When we breathe, we emit carbon dioxide. Little do we know that when we're getting the boat ready, that carbon dioxide is actually a trigger for mosquitoes to come over and attack us. It's completely unintentional on our part, but it's a trigger for these mosquitoes. And I think that's what's going on with this scent. I think that by adding this scent to your lures, it doesn't even really matter what presentation you use, a shrimp or paddle tail or jerkbait. The attractants that are used are universal throughout the food chain, and they elicit an aggressive response from the receiver, in this case, a big hungry trout. So to take it one step further, if that doesn't make sense, look at it like this. If you're driving by a McDonald's and you smell McDonald's fries, even if you aren't hungry, you're genetically programmed to want McDonald's fries. It's the same thing. If that's not science, I really don't know what is. So that's why I firmly believe that enhancing your lures with scent can mean the difference between having the fish turn away from your presentation or pouncing on it. Something else to consider when sight fishing, and this is especially true when using a shrimp presentation, is adding a rattle. Okay, it might not seem like much at first, but considering that everything is amplified underwater, these fish can definitely hear and feel the sound of this lure as it bounces across them every single step of the way. Just listen to it. It's really subtle, but it's just enough to bring attention to your lure without scaring away a wary fish. The way I see it, having a small rattle definitely doesn't hurt your chances. And the best thing is that we do have our battle rattles now on the shop page. These are really tiny Pyrex rattles and they have a point to them and they can be used in any kind of soft plastic. They're a great addition to add to a paddle tail on the back. You can add them to Alabama leprechaun jerk shads or any other jerkbait presentation. But I really like adding them to a shrimp presentation, especially the power prawns, because there's this cavity that's built in underneath there, and it just makes for an easy opportunity to enhance your presentation. And that about covers it. Remember that being successful at sight fishing takes a lot of practice. It's definitely a skill set that comes with a lot of trial and error, and watching the movement of these fish every time you present your lure. You get a little bit better each time. You're definitely going to spook fish. It's a harsh reality that we face. It happens to all of us. But if you take the extra time to tweak your presentations with some of these tricks, you might just seal the deal. And we have all of these products in front of you on our shop page at fishstrong.com. Remember, if you're a part of our insider membership, you can earn up to 20% off of all of these awesome lures. So definitely go check it out. And please reach out to us with any and all questions, comments, ideas. We'd love to hear your input, and we will see you guys on the water soon. And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the best online fishing club in America because we literally guarantee that you'll start catching more fish in less time. And we do this by providing you with premium education, an exclusive online fishing community, and huge discounts on the best tackle for saltwater anglers. So to learn more, go to saltstrong.com, and we'll see you in the Insider family soon.